For 5 minutes.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I thank all the members of the panel for being here today. Dr. Bonner, I was interested in your paragraph in your written statement and then your testimony with regard to Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station in Tonopah. And you were just there recently?
Yeah, I was there in the last month, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, so you were there during the good weather time. So
Nice.
good for you. I hope you get out there in the summer and experience what real heat's about. So you mentioned in your statement that there's competing demand for the water, and we're talking effluent, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, and so I think I know what they are, but maybe you want to elaborate on what some of those competing demands, because the Tonopah's, most people don't know this, where Palo Verde Generating Station is in a remote part of Maricopa County. Maricopa County Arizona's got 7 million people in it. Maricopa County has 5 million people in Maricopa County. It's an odd state. We only have 15 counties, and where you went is really remote. There's no water supply, as you mentioned. But what are the competing demands for effluent in basically an urban area that has 5 million people in it?
Right. I think part of the water is to go back to the town for its own purposes. But I think the copper industry also uses a lot of water as well in that area. And other industries, it's a very, it's a growing area. There's a lot of, I think, retirement homes and stuff being put up there too, people moving there. And that demand is just causing more needs on the water. And I think a lot of the contracts that were negotiated for that water when the plant were built were 30 years ago. And I think the municipalities are under the impression that they gave it away too cheaply, especially now with how the local area is growing, and they're trying to get more out of it.
Yeah. You didn't mention golf courses, but there's a lot of golf courses in the valley.
Yeah, with the retirement part.
Yeah. So as we take a look at that and the demands, you indicated that you were working on ways to mitigate either the cooling cost or what exactly. I'm not sure what you were working on, but I assume that you're trying to find a way to lower costs either by reduction in use of the effluent or some other cooling mechanism. So
Right.
Can you elaborate on that for us?
Sure. So Palo Verde uses wet cooling towers, right? So all the water, or at least 95% of it, goes to evaporation, and the rest of it goes to evaporation ponds. So our concept would, in order to get rid of water usage, would be use some sort of dry cooling technologies. And we were at an air-cooled condenser users group a few months ago. That's where we sort of made the first connection. They saw some of our concepts that we developed on the RPE ARID program, where we can use salts to essentially store heat at night, and then during peak demand, when it's hot at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can dissipate the heat to that basically nighttime temperature, but dissipate it during the day. And by doing that, you can use no water, but you can also get temperatures that are similar to what you get in a wet cooling tower. So you don't have the efficiency issues that Mr. Renner was talking about. If you try, especially in somewhere like Arizona, to dissipate directly to air, usually you're talking about at least a 15% decrease in power efficiency. And I suspect in Arizona, even to reach that, you're talking about a very, very large air-cooled condenser system using traditional technologies that would be not even close to cost competitive to what they currently do.
So I guess that leads me to the logical next question is, what would it cost to retrofit to something that's air-cooled? I'm not asking for a bid. I'm just, a ballpark.
Right. I think it's, when I was there talking with them, and we were in the room with some other air-cooled condenser companies, I think you're talking about at least 10 times more expensive than a wet cooling tower in terms of capital cost. So it's substantial.
But does it offset over time with the usage cost, with the rising cost of effluent?
It probably would, yeah. It would offset over time. But I think
that's the salesman in you saying that, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but the paybacks are longer than what the stakeholders want to see.